Hello there everyone, welcome to the YouTube video here on the channel. My name is Emily. Today we are here at Birmingham New Street. We're taking this Avanti West Coast service, the 0530 to Holyhead. We'll be taking as far as Crewe today on the West Coast main line Birmingham to Crewe route by All Aboard Studios, the same studio who made the train. This is going to serve as a first look and also as a route liner for the route. My fourth attempt at recording this now, and I genuinely mean it. If this doesn't go right this time, I'm giving up. So let's get in the cab and get ready. Just cutting all the safety systems. Everything is unisolated except SDO. I don't think we need it on this route, but it's good to have. And we'll jump in the chair. The chair does actually spin around. Thank you. Key on. Reverse it to neutral. AWS reset. You'd also get the train fault firing off. And the DSD firing off for a self-test. That hasn't fired off today. But TPWS has, which is always good. So we're going to set the DRA and leave the red thing there. I'm going to set my headlights to full. Now, we do depart at 50:30, so we've got about 25 seconds until departure. Unfortunately, we've got to close the doors on this timetable to get the doors to get the signal to release, sorry. So we'll just be mindful of that. It's a shame because you'd never do that in real life, but alas. Quick look through the TMS. Red shows that these doors are released and that there's no interlock on them. Slight issue though, obviously if I open my cab door, that should go red as well, and it doesn't. Out of interest. Yes, the lock's modelled, that's good. But yeah, so pan, this shows the pan, so the pan's up in the front and the rear vehicle. The middle two pans are dropped, and we're cutting in this cab. You'd also get an icon to show you where the guard's keyed on. It'll probably be one of these doors here, or the back cab. But that's 50:30, we're 20 seconds late. So I'll reverse it forward, because I'm treating it as though the signal's pulled off. That is me just simulating the buzzers there, but B gets his bell buzzers, and that is what they sound like in real life. It's loud enough to make you jump if you're not expecting it. No. I'm just going to clip the V key there, I do apologise.
Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Bangor, and Holyhead.
So that shows you what our calling pattern is today.
Please familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
So we cover about the first third of this train's journey out to Holyhead, out to the Holy Island.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff. Or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it? Say it. Sorted.
There we go, 10. Right. So you've got your DRA, you push and reset that. Your TPWS panel. That is simulated by the looks of things. I've never actually managed to set the TPWS off intentionally. You can see the end of the train is barely past where we started. Well, it's not even past where we started. Yeah, that's how long these trains are. But honestly, a 10-mile-an-hour limit at the station is painful. At this signal, we can go up to 15. And then, no, actually, it's, yeah, 50 even. Not 15. Apologies, I always conflate this part of the journey. And we'll just gun it and get out of this tunnel. And go! I do love the way the door interlock light illuminates the panel around it. Looks very nice. And sort of splashes onto this panel here. Bit rock and rolling, which is about right for a 800 series. 323 coming in front of us. Hello. when the back of the train goes past that, we go up to 65. So it's the length of the train. About when this track access point disappears past the nose, we can about then go up to 65. Well, a bit of a fall, as you can see. It's a very long train we've got. Each vehicle is about 26 metres long, so it's about a 260 metre long train today. It's just worth being mindful of, really. And these do accelerate quite quickly. So, for example, something like a pacer, because of the way that the gearbox works, if you open the power up fully, when from idle, you at most speeds you'll have coasted past the speed post fully before you take power. Before you No, I'm going too quick. See, basically before you start accelerating. Sorry, guys, words are hard this morning. So, like I say, this is my third attempt at recording this. First two have failed. This one won't. So fourth attempt. So first attempt failed on the upload to YouTube. Second attempt, stopped recording halfway through. Third attempt to record with no audio, and this is the fourth attempt. If it doesn't work this time, it ain't happening. I do have to say though, folks, it's my first time properly driving this route on the channel, and it is very pretty. You've got 323s, including the Regio Northwestern one. Some more 323s. 323 coming off the shed there. Rather cool. So, yeah, what's been going on with me? So I was supposed to be at work today. I handed back the overtime shift in the end because I was just too fatigued. So I'm recording this, but lighting a bit of lights on magic, 11:54 in the morning. I went to bed about midnight. I first knew of the world again about 8:30 this morning. That is the longest I've slept in about a week. And then went back to sleep for another hour and a half. And I've just done some washing, and now I'm recording this video. And then after this, I'm going to put the washing out to dry. And then just have a self-care day, because I have been going really hard lately with work. Lots and lots of overtime, lots of hours done, and I've also been a bit ill, which just hasn't helped things. Like the last week, I barely recorded any YouTube when I had rest days, because I didn't want to sit here and talk to the microphone. As I played a video game, I just wanted to play the video game myself and chill. Apologies for the speeding here. I promise I'm doing my best. Really cool thing here, it's by the Galton Bridge. We've got trains over trains, and that diverging line links up to that line, so it's quite a steep climb up. So first impressions of the 805, overall very good. It is a good simulation. I wish that the cameras worked, because they turn on automatically. Most of the switches work and do what you'd sort of expect them to. Oh, it's not the snow brake. There is a button that 801s have there that's been removed off. That's going off. There we go. Right, yeah, there's a button that 801s have there that's been removed, and I've got no idea what it is, because that's the snow brake button there. Unless the snow brake buttons have been moved. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, it's the ETCS acknowledge button, I think. So I can't see that anyway. That's interesting, so these must be fitted with ETCS equipment. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. Yeah, there's just a lump there. It must be that it's guarded over, basically, because they know that it's not going to be needed for a while. Apologies for the speeding today. I'm not doing too hot, apparently. Yeah, they obviously fitted with the Pfizer seats, which are the same ones that Lumo has. We'll have a look at the interior properly when we arrive at 75, 75, 75. When we arrive at Wolverhampton. That's interesting. That visual glitching there. I've never noticed that square before, but now I can't unsee it. Oh, and there's one bug I actually did notice whilst recording the passenger view video. When it rains, the interior, like the passenger cabin, passenger saloon, gets wet. Oh, come on. So this is where I would love to have a speed set. Whilst it's not professional driving policy to sort of keep bouncing off the speed set, it does just help when, in a situation like this where I'm giving live commentary on my driving, so I'm not able to fully focus on it, it does just help to be able to sit here and talk to you guys a bit and have the speed set to bounce off. So the Birmingham to Wolverhampton leg is the shortest leg of our drive on the 805 today. However, it is also the slowest, so it takes the longest. The fastest leg is the longest, and the medium leg is the medium leg. I thought that would have been resolved. That's obviously that may be showing the West Coast Main Line South 350 on there for some reason. Go. Good draw at 75 then. Definitely did miss a speed change there. Honestly, guys, I apologise for the quality of driving. I am more focusing on the in this leg. My official excuse. I'm more focusing. Sorry about that. The quality of the DLC. So, quick capture, I guess, of the 805. Second man's seat, second man's panel. One of the things you can do is there you go, put the wiper over to that side, which makes our view of the platform slightly worse, but it means you've got someone route learning with you. They're not just staring at a wiper blade all day. I'll reset that back to normal. Windscreen wash, demist. GSMR, which is simulated. I forgot to do that before departure. Oopsie poopsie. I do wish that updated to the signal numbers you're passing as you register it. Other than that, pan up, pan down. So this is your changeover switches. So you've got your diesel mode, electric mode, pan up, pan down. Diesel engine start. Wipers, that equates to roughly how many times a minute you want it to wipe. So fast. And then very intermittent, so at once every 12 seconds. So that's for light rain. Train fault acknowledged, so if you hit the emergency brake or you basically get tripped up by the train, you'd hit that. DSDO, yeah, horn. DSD override, so I could stand that. I could stand up in the, like, if I basically want to stretch my legs or take my feet off the DSD pedal, you hold on to that, and that basically acts as your DSD. Train door control, so that's transferring door control to the guard. We don't really do that in Train Sim World. TMS, we've already really looked at. See next station, destination, train speed, time, landmarks we've passed, and how late the train thinks we are. Timeliness, next station stop, line voltage, indication. You can then also start looking at stuff in here like saloon status is what you end up looking at quite a bit. Engine status. There you go. So that's what the different engines are doing. So just to show you on the map where we are. That's Wolverhampton, so we need to think about slowing down now. Thank you. Put a bit of brake on. Like I say, 805s accelerate really well and slow down really well. That is what sort of makes them work on the West Coast Main Line. So Avanti at the moment, well, what these replaced with the 221s, which were theoretically quicker trains. So 221 can theoretically do 125 miles an hour, whereas this can only do 110. However, this still keeps to Pendolino time, if not slightly better. Sorry, to not Pendolino time, to Voyager time, if not slightly better, because of the fact that they they accelerate so much better. So down to 30, we bring the train. Here's our Pendolino friend going the other way. So Avanti do run quite a few trains down here on the daily. That's everything from your 9 Romeo head codes, which are the Edinburghs.
We are now approaching Wolverhampton. Please mind the gap when leaving the train and step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
So it is basically Avanti runs a service that runs up here. Well, I think it's an hourly service, I'm going to say, towards Edinburgh, or 2-hourly service certainly. And it is nearly always quicker if you're going from Euston, or like let's say Milton Keynes up to Edinburgh, to go to someone like Crewe, change over, and then continue on the Edinburgh bound service, or someone like Preston or Carlisle, because it is so much slower going via this line. This is Wolverhampton we're arriving into. Absolutely loving the cab suspension as we go for the pipework here. Now Wolverhampton, we're going to have a look at one thing outside, I think, and we'll do the interior view at Stafford. So big fan of Wolverhampton Station. Not because of anything to do with the station, but because to do with what's right next to it. So coming up against a red signal at the end. AWS reset. So the my real life TOC, which is hashtag not Avanti West Coast, policy is 20 over the magnet, coming to a red with the brake in. I was at 10 and coasting because we had plenty of time, and we're just going to draw up to the end here. There you have it.
Wolverhampton, welcome aboard this Avanti West Coast service to
nowhere. It's a midnight train going nowhere. And just so I don't get tripped up by the safety systems, we'll do that. So this is Wolverhampton. I remember I came train spotting here when we were here for Flight SimCon. So we got on the station because the gates were open. Walked over. I was like, what on earth is this thing? There was a 323 over here. I think I saw Pendo come in. This was Virgin days, of course. Now over this side, you've got a Premier Inn. Now I stayed here when I went to Flight SimCon. And behind it is the sort of the pub. And that's where the first place I ever went as a girl. Yeah, so that was my experience of of Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton. I've got a bit of time, so I'll have a quick look at the interior, I guess. Run back. So if you look into the interior here, you've got the Pfizer style seats. These are the Lumo style seats. They are towards the modelling. They look a bit thin, like flimsier than they are in real life, from memory. Yeah, you've got your UAT here. Needs to be reset probably. They all do. Always, every time you see them, just slam the door closed and it'll work again. And then this is the food bar on these. So they've got a different one. So obviously on LNER, the L3, you've got your trolley storage in there. You've got your extra stock carts in here. And then this is your serving patch. And then this is the door to get in and out of the bar. And then, but on Avanti, this is like a second hatch. I don't know what it's for, but it's pretty cool. It's about use of the space, that's for sure. And then this is a water fountain. And then you've got your advertising screens there. PAU, Passenger alarm unit. Would be cool if those could go off and you have to go down and reset them. Lock the door behind us. Otherwise, rear panel is pretty standard to an 800. Everything really about this is pretty standard to an 800. So continuing that cab to, how long have we got? 18 seconds. Speedo, another clock. Brake percentage indicator. Yes, DSD is definitely set because I'm against the red signal, of course. Brake, so this is the air brakes. So this basically the 800 blend. Well, first you use only rear static, and then the air kicks in. If you go into emergency, both kick in. So it does stop slightly better in emergency. That's an amber now. I can just don't recognise that. That's what my feedback's for this route.
Welcome aboard this Avanti West Coast service.
That looks like a red.
We'll be calling
That over there is a red. That looks like a red too, right? It's not.
Prestatyn.
Doing exactly what I complained about someone else doing the other day. Straight into full power.
Bangor and Holyhead.
14 miles an hour. As we coast around the point work. DRA, you push it to set it, pull it to release it.
Something that doesn't look right.
TPWS panel.
Staff, or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it? Say it. Sorted.
So the train is not fit with speed supervision, so 390s, you may remember, will shout at you if you go too fast. So did Voyagers when on tilting sections. The crap. So the message coming back is wait. So yeah, we're against a red signal. Whilst we sit here against that, DRA obviously discussed. So these are basically it's saying that you can't do the enhanced permitted speeds because you don't tilt, but you can do 110 miles an hour on the West Coast Main Line, or 125 if you went somewhere that had 125 non-EPS speeds. And like the East Coast Main Line, the vastly superior one. 155, so I'm going to gun it just to show how quickly this accelerates. Full power, let's go. So 0 to 55, about 20 yeah, about 23, yeah, about 30 seconds to go up to 55. For up to 50, sorry. To get up to 55, yeah, so like, if you think, it's like an HST, wouldn't be keeping with those timings at all. And now you understand why these things are so quick. Or what makes them so good is they're so quick. Line fault light indicator at VCB says if we go through neutral section, the VCB goes bang and opens, or if you put it to diesel mode. Automatic dropping device, that's basically to drops the pan in the event of a fault. You know what, I'll turn those on for the second part, or third, yeah. Second and third parts of this video. They do happen much too much. Train faults, normal. Yeah. We'll just do them on low. Which means low is probably where to leave them if you want to experience them, but not have them going off constantly. Back out. There we go. So train faults may now occur. It'll sort of tell us on the hood if we've got a fault going off, I think. So I might tap the hood on occasionally. But like the reason I can get away with doing 60 here, not 55, is because the safety system isn't enabled. Like it would shout at me if I was speeding. And then if I didn't react the way I did there, it'll put the brake in. CCTV event. So if the guard rings and goes, "Hello driver, someone's been punched in the bar," I can press that, and that puts a little flag in the CCTV footage. So basically when Hitachi comes to review the footage at a later time, it's basically easier to find. Emergency brake plunger, snow brake. So that you got to limit yourself to 10 miles an hour below line speed, but basically it sort of the brake, so it basically causes the brake to apply differently and better. Up to 90 we go. Let's go. Main panel, so it's power, 4 notches of power, smooth brake, master key, reverser, DOO screens as discussed. This is what your cab lights. So you got your central light, your down light, which sort of lights your lap basically. Your reading light, which is that light there, under there, and your desk illumination, which is the backlighting. Let's chuck that up a notch just for the crack. Lastly, what have we got? Well, HVAC, will turn that off now. Hazard warning lights. Turn those back off. And that's it really in terms of stuff to be interested about on the 805 in the cab. And we'll go power off. Soon, my pretty soon. We'll get you up to 110. We'll get you all the way. So it's 110. Let's go. So 109 miles an hour on. Email just been sent out by my work. Turn people off. Also, that someone's about to come and start shouting at people. So it's like the way things tend to happen in our work is you get an email saying, "Hey, this thing you thought you're doing, don't do it." And if you still, then basically if everyone does it after that, they get shouted at. I'm not saying what that thing is because that would be very inappropriate of me to say. Right, 110 is on though. I'm trying to get my speed guide up. Okay, so just looking at the cab now. Just keeping the speed between 100 and... So, like I said, because we picked the speed up here, time is absolutely fine. You know, we're not that far off double the speed we were doing on the for most of that, the leg up to Wolverhampton. For some reason in this thing, you just not go through some camera. It's like a single thing. It looks like that's like Bound Rock. Maneuver. There you go, there's the DVD, the driver's vigilance device, firing off. So that's my reminder to be awake. Green light. Just absolutely rocketing towards Stafford. Doesn't look that fast, does it? 110. 112 even. So yeah, in real life, I would be utilising the speed set switch on board, and basically ensuring that the train is being held at that at that 110 by the speed set. So, for example, I could now it wouldn't be, like I said, it wouldn't be professional driving policy, but when I, if I look to wait to go the exit on camera or whatever, and the train hit 110, it would just take the power out automatically. I'd see that, close the throttle, and let it coast back down. So maybe 108, maybe 105, and then put the power back in, and it gives you a bit more of sort of. I understand why some people are against it, but also I think it is just more important. It adds more than it takes away in terms of safety. Right, because like every safety system you have, takes something away, but it adds. Right. TPWS. Oh, I'm not sure what that last signal was, but if I go too fast, I get timed up by the TPWS. Nothing will happen. AWS. I don't have to look out the window. I can wait for the AWS to fire off, and that'll tell me if I've got an adverse signal. It's that kind of thing. You can always say every safety system's taken something away from the sort of advancedness of driving. Oh, that's my AWS window. That hides itself really interestingly, actually. Just realised what that is. I was talking about it before. Yeah. I know you've already shouted at me in the comments. I apologise profusely. Profusely. So still 3 and a bit miles to go to Stafford. 3 miles and 3 minutes to get there. So there is a 125 limit, but we can't do 125 on this because it's non-EPS only of 110. In fact, you know what? We'll say that we can because there's no curves here. Let's get up to 125 just to prove we can go there. It's probably the one section of the West Coast Main Line where you could actually chuck it to 125 and just keep, without having to have EPS support. We've got quite a sharp brake application. Now we've got up to 115, 120. Just shows that this thing does go quite quick if you want it to. We've now got to take the speed back off. I chose to speed in the wrong area, basically, quite frankly. And that's why you don't speed, guys. Double amber, single amber next. See, that's where the AWS appears. In that little window. There we go, I've got minimum break on the way into Stafford. We're going to be... Oh, wrong button. We're going to be a little bit late on the run-in, but hey. I'll just put the brake on now to slow us down for Stafford Station. Stafford, so the line joining us from the right there, that's the West Coast Main Line, the Trent Valley route.
And step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
So if you were to go down there, you'd come out the bottom at Rugby, and then basically continue down towards Milton Keynes. So that is how we're going to get the full West Coast Main Line in train sim world soon. Because all aboard are working on West Coast Main Line Trent Valley, which is from Milton Keynes to Stafford. And Just Trains are working on Crewe to Preston. I do wonder if we'll see a Class 730 come with the Trent Valley route, because that'd be quite fun if we did. It's time for the East Coast to get some love again, though, we'll say. Got the lovely FCA spine wagons down the right. It is quite disconcerting having a train moving towards you at slow speed as you're moving in at slow speed. It makes you feel like you're going much faster than you are. It's very disconcerting. Discombobulating, even.
This is
Bring the train
Stafford.
to a stand.
Welcome aboard
Doors on the left.
Avanti West Coast service to Holyhead. The next stop will be Crewe. Whilst at the station,
Flint, press started. Rill, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Bangor, and Holyhead.
We're due away in about 30 seconds. What will we like for time pulling in there, actually? Yeah, a minute late. So instead of having 2 minutes, we've got minutes 12, which will cover it. You got fun stuff here though, like, does this one work? It does, so you can actually, my GSMR's crashed, hello Signaler, and they'll then sort you through that. You can sort of climb that up that a bit, that's quite fun. Back onto my mighty steed. We've checked, we've received the tip from the dispatcher, so we'll do doors closed. And then we'll get the buzz from the guard. There we go. That was our response. We'll go notch 2.
welcome aboard this Avanti West Coast service to Holyhead. We'll be calling at Crewe, Chester, Flint.
So it doesn't give you like any of the actual amps, which is a shame.
Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Bangor, and Holyhead.
Homepage, there we go. Next stop is
Please
Crewe.
familiarise yourself with the safety notices displayed throughout the train.
I can go up to 30 here, but we are going to get swung over, hopefully, onto the fast lines, so we need to be mindful of that. Well, that's what that indication was, is that we'll be taking the crosswise.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it? Say it. Sorted.
Flange. So yeah, I did completely miss that when I was first doing my notes on this, and I lumoed it across here at 50 miles an hour. I know all the everyone except Hull trains had that experience now on the West Coast Main Line. So East Coast Main Line, sorry. But, you know, it's way funny to take the mick out of Lumo. So I shall. You can see the rear of the train is still snaking across. So it's a very long train. Like the vehicles on an 800 are like, so the a 12 car 700 is about the same length as a 9 car 800. There we go, let's go for 110. We definitely need the EPS speeds on this segment of the line. Sorry, I'm just singing to myself at this point. I don't know why I did that, this one's behind us. So we'll go for 110 along here, and then trick it into idle at 110. Now we do get pulled back to 100, I believe, 105, sorry. At some point soon, but, oh well, 1 point along here. I'm going to point that out, otherwise it's a 110 blast straight the way up to Crewe, where we'll get sort of trucked in onto one of the platforms at Crewe, so we'll have to cross over then. So obviously it's not 110 all the way in, but we'll see. Goes off into neutral and just coast. Or into idle, I should turn it into neutral. The video is still recording, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna put a bit of brake on, get ourselves to 105. Tiny bit of brake. Tiniest amount of brake. 105 and brake off. Brake on, brake off. There's our 105. Give me a little bit of power on. Just to sustain us. Coming through the curves. There we go, and we'll just give it a few beats. This next stanchion, back on the throttle we go. Oh, is that Weaver Junction? I can't remember now. Oh my god, Jackie Weaver. Sorry. I know we've been down this route the other way twice now. Once on an HST, once on a, well, I like local HST power car, and once on a 66 on intermodals. But to be fair, we've got a good sort of coverage of Crewe now in terms of the different routes. I do want to do sort of Crewe to Preston with an intercity. And of course the North Wales coast needs knocking out. But that would give us the full coverage of the lines at Crewe. So when we came in with the intermodal, we came in on the Crewe avoiding lines, which is a set of lines that runs underneath Crewe station. And obviously on this, well, on the other one, we came out of sort of Crewe holding siding, so we came off the weird little junctions there. But here we come obviously straight down the main line, so we get the fast lines in. Yeah, so what else has happened? Well, so after work yesterday, I was like, you know, just sort of good, well, I was just interested in like what the other stuff was that so I saw a bit of context. Last weekend, or 2 weekends ago now, I saw a show called Jerry and Sewell. It's a difficult one to explain what it is, but it's a very good show. If you're from the North East and you like football, I recommend going to see it when it goes to Theatre Royal in June. 1 second, whilst I cough. There we go. So, yeah, anyway, now, one of the actors in it is a lady called Anne Mullen. Now, I was just interested to see what else she'd done, because she's a relatively recent drama school graduate, so, you know, and so Googled, well, looked at the programme, and she was down as being in Midsummer Murders. Now, she is very Geordie. I can't stress how Geordie this lady is. Like, or at least in Jerry and Sewell. So she's sort of very much sort of this sort of level of Geordie. So it's sort of very much the accent is there. I can't. Whilst thinking about what I'm saying, I can't actually do that voice. But she is very Geordie. And also like has a very cool little line in the show, which I sort of found very thought provoking. But in Midsummer Murders, she like has a completely different accent. I mean, she has like 3 lines, but it was really weird. So seeing her in 2 things now where she's very Geordie, and then to go from very Geordie to Midsummer Murders accent is interesting. But she's yeah, like I say, but me and my friend so the other thing I've seen her in is my friend's show, and I sent it to my friend. I was like it's so weird seeing like this Aaron without a Geordie accent, And like, I mean, she's only in it for like 2 minutes and has 3 lines, but I sent her over. And she's like, "Oh my god, Erin, no!" Because it's just weird seeing, like I say, someone you've seen in a few different things being stabbed to death. I mean, mind you, I'm friends with a different lady who's an actor, who was in a sort of like basically a witch trials thing, and again, that was really, it's a weird impact seeing people you know playing like, or being harmed on screen, because like, in theatre, you know, like the effects are never that good basically, and you sort of know, but on screen it hits differently, man. It hits differently. It's just weird. Yeah. Anyway, I will say as well, though, like complete subject change. Now, I do quite like driving the West Coast Main Line. I can't drive it much because I do get bored of it, but I think the East Coast, you've got the high speed running and the sort of long straights and some curves and some nice scenery. Here, it's sort of a nice drive in terms of not looking beyond the actual bounds of the railway, because you got lots of curves and like the long sort of sweeping curves, which are great fun to drive around. You sort of almost feel like you're skiing, like doing downhill skiing kind of thing, more so than driving a train. You got sweeping curve to try to get your speed, sweeping curve to try to get your speed, then straight line, pick a bit more speed up. Obviously in skiing terms. I picked up 2 miles an hour there before I had to go off the power. Just to show you on the route again, so we started down here at Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Stafford, Crewe. That there's the line towards Shrewsbury, and that there is the line towards Stoke. We've done the line towards Stoke actually as well in Train Sim Classic, so yeah, we've got a really good level of coverage for all the lines around Crewe. I do want to do the proper like Stoke loop on a Voyager or something, but I'm just going to get a bit more chocolate from the thing, in case you're wondering. Yep, it is. It's a Milky Bar. I don't call it a Dairy Milk then, no. So I was trying to do ASMR and it failed miserably. Oh, full disclosure, by the way, I do have a colour patch on this by Bell from the Trent Community website. That makes the greens a bit more accurate to the real thing. Fair enough. I'll say to that. But anyway, overall, though, really enjoying driving this thing. It's a very different experience sort of driving this to the 802s and stuff. I do want to take the 802 out again, actually, now that I've sort of had a while away from it. Do you like the paint or something on an 802? It'll be a while until we see like me on a Trenton World 6 route down there though, because I've got a lot of West Country stuff to do in Trenton Classic at the moment. This does very much feel like a never-ending route. You're just sitting here cruising, like not really doing anything, just sort of watching the power coast down put back up. Coast line, put back up. The last few times I've run the side of TSR in this section, which I actually found really useful just for something to do. But alas, not on this run. No, we did the 56. Oh no, that was to Warrington. Sorry, I'm thinking to myself. Thinking to myself. One of those little mini ones just to knock out, like what basically was to knock out Harpley sidings, just somewhere we've been and trained some. Looking forward actually to the Freightliner 90 or the Class 90 coming to train some World with ATS. That'd be a nice loco to have from them. I would obviously like to 91, but a 90 is a really good sort of initial step there. Put a bit of brake on, so no, that's the basically the means that there's a red on the approach to Crewe, which obviously likely to be there when we arrive. So I'll just leave 20% of brake on. This is the start of Crewe Basford Hall. Basford Hall over on the left. That's where we came out of with the intermodal 66s, 66 even. And that's where we put our intermodal 90s. Obviously, this time of day, the Crewe Basford Hall is not particularly busy for trains. Oh, so I got TPWS. That's fun. So I acknowledge that. That was really fun. I mean, I would have stopped by that signal, but okay. So. How does one get out of this? Brake release. And this is where not having a manual really sucks. I mean, I'm still against a red there, so I'm not too bothered, but... So I'm not obviously going to contact the signaller because... Oh. Yeah, I've put on the signal. The signal's happy for me to continue. That it was a wrong side fault.
AWS operational.
Does that reset me at my timeout? Probably not. So go pan up to reset the VCV, even though it's closed. I've got line volt light.
AWS operational.
Like, normally it would be a train fault reset, but that one's not even simulated. Let's see if I can find this in a TS manual. There is definitely no manual on there. No. So if you look on the DLC page on the website, it will normally give you a manual for the train. List featured. 800 in it. Great, there we go. Riviera line. This also doesn't have a manual. Well, this is fun. Let's Google it. This is me calling a fitter. Train sim world 6 TPWS reset 802. So if we press the little grey reset, oh, there you go. That it worked that time. So I mustn't have done something. Cool, let's go. So we've got a proceed aspect to take me into the station. We can see that. So we don't want to respat or like re-get tripped out, but yeah, that's that. This is a River Train Care Crewe on the right hand side. So that's where you normally see sort of the Premier Train Mark IVs, that kind of Peugeot-G. We'll go down to 25 and we'll just sit at 25 until we reach our diverging points. So also in there, at the moment, you've got the East Mids Railway 158 undergoing refurbishment. And for whatever reason, one of our Everos is in there too, being looked at. As you can see, though, it's a train care Crewe, but it's a Reaver. Promise you that much. You know, whilst Reaver is basically out of all of the UK rail industry except for Chiltern and cross country, basically they lost Reaver Trains Wales and Northern. They had the right idea.
Crewe, please mind the gap when leaving the train.
To stand next to
Step onto the platform before removing heavy luggage and pushchairs.
So, as I was about to say there, sorry, basically they signed the contract with themselves. And on the left, that's Crewe holding sidings. That's where LSL's trains live. That's about right for sort of going over, like the level to which the trains deflect going over a point work is insane. Or the corridor connectors deflect. Sorry, you can't walk through them. It's like you've got to wait for it to go over the points to try and walk through. Why am I trying to walk through while it's going over corridor connectors? Have you met? Say, have you been train Crewe? No. No. I feel like I can imagine we do a lot of running around sometimes needlessly. Sometimes you do things to look busy. I feel like. AWS magnet. Gonna be a red. But there you go. The TPWS is simulated. We managed to get timed out by that. I definitely didn't come in a bit hot there on purpose. It was to show you guys what the TPWS time might look like. I actually heard the do as I was external. I thought that can't be it. They rarely get TPWS simulation on these.
This is Crewe. Welcome aboard this Avanti West Coast service to Holyhead. The next stop will
There we
be
go.
Chester. Whilst at the
So we're getting off the train. We're handing over to our Crewe colleague who will be taking it the rest of the way through to Holyhead. What I'll actually do is get in the chair and we're engine off. We'll activate diesel mode and start the engine. And what I can do as well is pan down. So that bang is not audible on this end of the train. That one might be a little bit, but... And you'll hear as we walk past the sound of the GUs coming on. So this doesn't have GUs, but B does. And you can hear the sound they make. So we looked in B. I'm just going to look in first class, have a look in the kitchen. I did release the doors, I swear I did. See, this is first class, these are the Pfizer seats. So these look a bit more like what they do on Lumo, to be honest. A bit more padded, actually. Can't sit in that seat, that's interesting. So this is where obviously we sat for the thing video, but... Oh, they allow recline, that's fun. So the seats fit into the same... Shush. Fit into the same thing as they do on the LNER style first class. And then you've got your serving carts, various trays there, stuff in them, microwave, toaster, which is nice.
Welcome aboard
boiler.
this Avanti West Coast service
Boiler.
to Holyhead. We'll
No
be
idea.
calling at Chester, Flint, Prestatyn, Rill, Colwyn Bay,
And then we're gonna get out there.
Junction, Bangor, and Holyhead.
Oh, rip. Well, it's done without us. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you did. Subscribe to see more from me on a regular basis. Until next time, bye bye.